Okay, so I want to address some of the questions. I've gotten incredibly good questions from a Facebook user who's actually a customer of mine buying hooks and everything. So he says, from many of the responses, it seemed like few people watched the whole video or commented while watching it. Yes. I mean, I've looked at the analytics. Only 10% of people are actually watching the whole video all the way through. And like 80% stop it after just like 1 minute. So there's tons of information in there that people are just, they get a little bit and then they start typing. Anyway, it's part of the reason why I don't read them. So some concerns, he says, no mention of sterile technique, but in the video it does show you using package insides as a field. You mentioned a completely disposable system. How are you handling sterilization training? Wonderful question. This is something that I've dealt with. I was a body piercer for like 6 years, full-time body piercer in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so I understand these things, but now that I'm not in that industry, does it make sense for me to have like a whole area to do this? Not really. So this is where I actually encourage anyone who is in the situation like I'm in, which is a decent number of the attendees are body piercers and long-time suspension practitioners. So a lot of them already have this figured out. But the ones who don't, I recommend they go and introduce themselves at the tattoo and body piercing studios. Just make friends. I mean, I've never had a problem in any city I've been in, even if it isn't a regular city. Just call around and talk. Usually they're very receptive. They're like, hey, this is cool. This is a unique person doing something unique. Let's help them out. They might charge you a nominal fee to process this stuff, but I've never had, most of the time they do it for me for free. So we're gonna go over, cleaning and prepping stuff, but for the most part, an autoclave is pretty expensive and it has to be regularly spore tested. Hi, Nadia. So I don't think it's the best idea to purchase one unless you just have money and a place to put it. But as far as sterile technique, yes, no, that is being taught. It's just one of those things that I'm like, it's not unique to my system really. It's just all suspensions, all body piercings, you have to have sterile technique. And so yeah, that's being covered. Some people, no matter how enthusiastic, should not be doing this. It's one thing to have knowledge, it's another thing to apply it. Do you expect a failure rate for the school? Are you prepared for that? Wonderful, wonderful question. So, I get what you're saying about some people should not be doing this because, you look at some people and like, if you're just useless with coordination of your hands, you're probably going to have some trouble facilitating the suspension. If you have any kind of disability, then, that could be a factor as well. But beyond that, I don't think it's my place to tell people they shouldn't suspend. I don't feel like I deserve that authority. I don't believe anyone deserves that authority over other people. Just say, you can learn this, you can't learn this. So I'm going to teach, but I think through this course, some people are going to decide, possibly the brand new people. So just so you know my statistics, it's only about 20% have little to no experience of the current applicants. Over half of them have at least 5 years of experience. One of them has reported over 10 years of experience. And then some of them are regularly suspending already. They're already in groups and stuff. I don't think I'm going to deal with much of a failure rate. It all depends. I mean, obviously, if people just don't show up for the classes, they're not going to pass. But at the same time, it's not like I'm handing out certifications or anything. That isn't how this works. I'm giving them the tools. What you do with these tools is up to you. I mean, ultimately, whenever you leave the course, it's not like I have any control over what people are doing, just like no one has control over me when I'm not in their presence. It's like, I don't think, you know, I mean, I hope people, it's possible that people will fail, but I don't expect it. The people who are applying seem extremely motivated to learn and take as much of this course in as possible. And but still, this is just the beginning. If you look under the certifications for section on the website, it says this is just the beginning of your education. All we're learning right now is the foundation. These are the critical elements that we can expand upon. And what I'm teaching is extremely simple. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. It's very simple. Like, to not be able to learn it in this period of time, I don't think is likely, unless there's just serious communication problems happening. But time will tell. You know, ultimately, I haven't run a class yet, so we'll see how that goes. With all the opposition, folks, that do take you course will likely find more gatekeeping after. How are you going to keep this from being a cult of personality and echo chamber that doesn't update its information? I think what you're saying is that this could cause like a division between the people taking the course and everyone else. I genuinely hope that isn't the case. What we're doing is very, very inclusive. We're not trying to restrict this access or anything from anyone. I have no control over what the other teams do. If they form like a vendetta against Body Suspension University, there's nothing I can do about that. But I am encouraging everyone who takes the course to be inclusive, talk to people. Ultimately, the communication is very, very important. And right now, it isn't like we're in a good space as far as sharing of information. We're in an extremely bad space. So to move further in that direction, I don't think is likely. I think this is a correction, but again, time will tell. There's a lot of people opposed to me right now because this is brand new, but if you go back 10 years and look at how much all the things people were saying now about me, they said the exact same people were saying the exact same things 10 years ago when I started making suspension hooks. And now my suspension hooks are well loved all over the world. Like, as soon as I list them, they're sold. So people change. Ultimately, people didn't know who I was back then. They were, maybe suspicious of my intentions, but ultimately, in the end, they realized I love suspension. I love suspension. I love the people who I have been able to get to know in suspension, and I just wanted to make good equipment for people. And unfortunately, it wasn't very profitable, and that's why I'm taking a little bit of a break from it. But ultimately, I'm not gone. I'm going to keep making hooks. I'm going to keep making rigs. And I'm going to keep teaching this class as long as I can. You are just lounging, huh? Yeah? All right, so Yeah, and so one of the other questions, not from this person, but another question I got from an applicant, because I'm already doing the orientation interviews, he asked, what do I do to continue training after this? And that's the best question. Basically, as soon as this course ends, I plan on starting the next. I've already got enough applicants that we should be able to make that happen pretty much right away. And at every graduation retreat, I plan on extending it another day or two, possibly at the end, where alumni are able to come out, and then we just add a bunch of other suspensions and stuff. It's good for education for everyone, and then the alumni can sharpen up. You know, some of them might not suspend all the time, some of them are suspending weekly, but either way, this gives us a chance to all meet up, go over techniques. If we've learned something or we have a new idea, we can discuss it there, we can workshop it, and possibly update the system, just keep it evolving. Because as refined as I have this now, there's always room. There's always room for improvement. So, Nadia, do you have anything else to add? No? All right, guys, I guess that's it. Yeah. So visit the website, bodysuspensionuniversity.com, read up, enter any questions you have at the bottom of the page in the contact form, and submit an application if you're interested, and I'll get back with you right away. Talk to you guys later.